Welcome back to the Kearsarge Chronicle. I'm here with Charles Massey again, and we've just gotten him up to the barn from college. Now let's start back at the barn, because you have such a nice history with the barn.
Well, I do. You know, Judy, it was my first time out of the South. And my parents were worried about me because they thought I was in enemy territory.
Tell that funny story about the statue.
Well, all right. So for those of you who know New London, you know where the barn is located. And someone came to the box office one day and said, how do I get from the barn to the Gray House, which is now Flying Goose Pub? So the girl in the box office, who was from Virginia, without missing a beat, said, well, honey, you go to the center of town, you see the statue of the enemy soldier, you keep going till you get to the end of the road, and that's where it is. So every time I pass the courthouse and see the statue of the enemy soldier, I think of her and I keep going.
Oh, I love that story. I interrupted you, but that's one of my favorites. All right, so you got to the barn.
I was an apprentice. It was 1966. I'm proud of that year. And I had the most wonderful summer of my life. And I was asked back for a second summer. I went back and I graduated from school and came to the barn for a second summer. And during that summer, I was supposed to go back to graduate school in the fall, and I just wasn't up to it. I thought, I've been in school too long, I need something different. And I was reading a review, and on the back of the review, there was an ad for a teacher in the high school in Newport, and I called them and I said I was interested, and they came over and saw me because I couldn't go to them. I had a matinee, and they hired me, and I started teaching in Newport in the fall of '67.
Oh my goodness.
Which allowed me to still work in the barn in the summer. Oh. Do that, and then I took several summers off and went to Chapel Hill and did my master's. Because that allowed me to spend some summers at home.
Oh, sure.
But my years with the barn started in '67, and I was off and on for about 10 years.
Yes, and you left Newport for the big lights.
Yes, and I moved to New York, where I was an agent and a casting director. But most of those summers, I would come back and direct one show at the barn, which was really exciting, because I kept my connection. And then I moved to California.
I remember that.
To be a voiceover agent and a commercial agent. And when I was in LA, it was harder to come to the barn. But when I finally left LA, I did come, and for a couple of years was the co-producer with Norman. Right. So I have a long history.
What made you decide to come back?
September the 11th had a lot to do with it. Because I was on the streets of New York that day. My mother's death had a lot to do with it, as I was giving her the speech, you know, the eulogy at her funeral. I looked out and I saw all these people that I thought were my people. And I said to my father, I really think I need to come home.
I'm going to let you stop you there because we're coming back.
All right.